Once you've filled out a Massachusetts wastewater license application form and submitted it to the state, it's reviewed by the Board of Certification. After they complete their review, you'll receive your wastewater operator's license. Your license designates your standing based on the information you've submitted with your application. Today's video has been put together to help you understand the different designations that may appear on your license and why a particular status was designated to you. Hi, I'm Brian Hagopian, a professional wastewater instructor with Clearwater Consulting, here to help you navigate all the forms, paperwork, and requirements associated with having and properly holding a wastewater operator license. Now, you're most welcome to review the regulations in their entirety, but it would probably be simpler and it will definitely be faster if you just stay right here, because I'm going to explain and decode what's in the regulations. When you receive your license, your status is indicated by listing the numerical grade of the exam or exams that you've passed, along with some additional alphabetical or letter designations. There are a total of 7 numerical grades of wastewater licenses in Massachusetts, ranked 1 through 7, with 1 being the lowest grade and 7 being the highest grade. I want to remind you and I want to stress that regardless of your grade, you're licensed in the state of Massachusetts and are considered qualified to work at a facility with a wastewater treatment system. On the municipal side, you can hold a grade 1 through 4 license by passing the grade 1 through 4 municipal wastewater exam. On the industrial side, you can hold a grade 1 through 4 license by passing the grade 1 through 4 industrial licensing exam. Now, there are 3 grades of licenses above a grade 4, and all of these are called combined licenses. The grade 5 or 6 license requires you to pass the grade 5 or 6 combined exams. The grade 7 license is the highest license you can have in Massachusetts, and it's only available if you have enough work experience at an appropriate wastewater treatment facility and a grade 6 license. There are several letter designations which indicate your standing based on the information that you've submitted to the board. The type of license status you are given is determined by the Board of Certification, and their decision depends on the job you have when you submit your application, and it also depends on your work experience in the wastewater field. The first thing they look at on your license application is whether you've provided enough information for them to make a determination or a decision on your status. If you haven't filled out the form properly, or if there's any missing information, you'll be given a need more information status indicating that they need more information, either about the plant you're working at or the job that you're working at, or both. Now, if you've passed the exam and submitted your application correctly, the board first looks at whether you're working in the wastewater treatment field or not. If you aren't working in the field or at a job where you need your license, you're given a when and if status. When and if means that your license is active, but that you're not working in the field right now and don't need a license to do your job. To renew your license, all you have to do is pay the license renewal fee every 2 years. You don't need to obtain or submit state-approved training hours when your status is when and if. Now, if you get a job in the wastewater field, you'll need to fill out a change in status form and submit it to the Board of Certification for review. If you've passed the exam and are working in the wastewater treatment field, the next thing the board looks at is how much work experience you have in the field. I'm going to do a little bit of a deep dive into the experience requirements for a minute because they get a little involved. The amount of work experience you need depends on the grade of the exam that you've passed, as well as the complexity or class of the facility that you work at. Every wastewater treatment facility is classified by the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection during the permit application process. So the facility you're working at would already have its classification. The board reviews your work experience and determines whether you have enough experience at the right grade or class of facility in order to determine your status. Now, your level of education can be substituted for some of the work experience requirements, but exactly how much changes depending on your grade. Let's look at how education is treated. If you have a high school diploma, that can count as up to 2 years of work experience. An associate's degree in a wastewater-related field can count for up to 3 years of work experience. A bachelor's degree in a related field can count for up to 4 years of experience, whereas a bachelor's degree in an unrelated field can count for only up to 3 years. And a master's degree in a wastewater-related field can count for up to 5 years of work experience. And depending on the grade of the license you're applying for, there are limits on how much education you can substitute for work experience. Now, if you've passed a licensing exam and are working at a job where you need to use your wastewater license, but the board determines that you do not have the work experience necessary, you're given an operator in training status or an operator in training open-ended status. Open-ended status is given when you either don't have enough work experience or if you're working on a part-time basis in the field. To renew an OT or an OTOE license, you have to pay the license renewal fee, and you need to obtain and submit 20 state-approved training hours every 2 years. You'll be able to use your time as an operator in training to count toward your work experience requirement. If you've passed a licensing exam and are working at a job where you need to use your wastewater license and the board determines that you have enough work experience, you're granted a full operator status. To renew a full license, you have to pay the license renewal fee and you need to submit 20 state-approved training hours every 2 years. To summarize, I've put these requirements together in a color-coded flowchart to show you how they all are connected and interrelated. I didn't include the piece about needing more information. Areas where you have to take action are highlighted in yellow and outlined in red. Areas handled by the Board of Certification during their review of your application are highlighted in blue, and the decisions made by the board are highlighted in green. If you have an operator in training or full operator status and you change jobs and land a job outside of the wastewater field where you don't need your license, you can keep your license but inactivate it when your license next comes up for renewal. You would need to pay the license renewal fee to keep your license, but when you tell the board you're inactive, you don't need to get any training contact hours. You can keep an inactive license indefinitely if you renew it every 2 years by paying the license renewal fee. Now, if you're inactive and you get a job back in the wastewater field where you need your license again, you should change your status back to active. But you'll need to get and submit 10 state-approved training contact hours and include proof of those hours when you submit a change in status form to change your status back to active. Be sure to get your training hours and submit the change in status form in the same calendar year to avoid hassles. And click on the link below to check out other videos if you missed how to fill out the license application form or if you'd like to see how to fill out the change in status forms to ensure that you provide all the information that the board needs to properly recognize your status. Remember, the more you know, the further you'll go.